My team doesn't make mistakes, said Lewis Hamilton at the beginning of this year. But after 9 races into the season, they're still struggling for speed. So it's pretty clear they didn't really build a rocket ship either. It prompted Mercedes capo Toto Wolff this weekend to call the W13 a shitbox. And after that he went on to insult his rival team bosses by calling them pitiful and disingenuous. Has the Wolf gone wild? After the first race of the season, George Russell had a warning. The problems with the W13 weren't easy to solve, and it would take at least 5 races especially to fix the bouncing. After the medieval torture of the Baku Grand Prix, Russell and Hamilton seemed to wave the white flag. Please change the rules. Of course, this was met with cynicism in and around the paddock. You've ruled for years after a rule change and now you want to change the rules because you don't rule like you used to rule? That's not understanding the sport properly. For example, co-purist and AlphaTauri boss Franz Tost said, maybe they should stay at home. This is a Formula 1 car, not a Rolls Royce. And instead of accepting the situation, Wolff lashed out at his colleagues. Pitiful team principals trying to manipulate what is being said to keep the advantage and trying to play political games when the FIA tries to come up with a quick solution is disingenuous. Yeah, let's take a closer look at the political handbook written by Mr. Wolff himself. Now, it all starts with media-friendly media. In Baku, the race heard from unnamed sources that rule changes were halted by other teams, while all but one driver experienced porpoising as a problem, and it would be dangerous. Dangerous? Why not change the ride height, is what basically everyone said. But no, the FIA had to do something. Now, this sort of media diplomacy happens all the time in Formula 1, and Wolff is no stranger, to say the least. Remember last year's Spanish Grand Prix, for example. Suddenly articles started to appear that the Red Bull wings were flexing too much, but only the rear wings. Other video evidence clearly showed that the Mercedes front wings were flexing as well, but that never really made it to the rule changes. Well, the flexing rear wings did, and Red Bull had to change their car. It's all media politics, and last year had a record amount of it. Now, call me a no-no, but having worked for over 20 years in the media industry, I know a politician when I see one. Now, you can discuss who was most at fault in Cop's Corner in the first lap of the British Grand Prix last year. That's racing. But what happened afterwards was a stunning show of media politics. Instead of letting stewards decide or be respectful to the driver who crashed, Wolff doubled down on the situation. And Wolff even emailed the race leadership to show some sort of graphic. And afterwards, while celebrating happily, he was implying it was Max Verstappen's fault, although the stewards did punish Hamilton. And Wolff said, hard racing sometimes, if none of them gives in, ends in collision. Now, okay, that's an opinion, but when a few races later basically the same thing happened, Verstappen ended on top of Hamilton this time, Wolff called it a technical foul by Verstappen. Now, that sounds like politics to me. Toto Wolff entered Formula 1 through his investment firm after they bought themselves into Williams F1, and he was appointed director. Soon after, his partner debuted in free practice. She's now CEO of a Formula E team which drives with Mercedes powertrains. And as co-owner of the Mercedes F1 team and head of Mercedes-Benz Motorsports, he also leads the Mercedes Formula E team and co-decides which teams get his engines and who don't. He also holds a big share in Aston Martin, which obviously also have a Formula 1 team, and he also was until quite recently the manager of Esteban Ocon and even Valtteri Bottas. And recently news surfaced that his former special advisor Sheila Enreo got the position of Peter Beyer at FIA, who indeed led the investigation into last year's dramatic season finale. Now I'm not saying all of it is bad, but you do need to have some knowledge of politics to accumulate this much power in such a political sport. A will to win is one thing, but this willingness to bend every truth into a storyline that's favorable for the big audience is scary bad for the sport and bad for the fantastic reputation the Mercedes car company has around the world. About one thing Toto Wolff was right though, they did build a shitbox. And I think the best idea is just to go fix that car, not the rules.